Welcome to our first Lore and Legacy interview, everyone. I'm Juliana, your host. This is Noah Flater. So, if you have played Mortal Kombat 1, you have fought as or against him, 8 characters, one fate,
Yes.
and a career built entirely on refusing to take the safe road. Welcome, Noah.
Hi, thank you for having me. I appreciate it so much. I'm excited to chat about Mortal Kombat and all the fun stuff that I get to do.
Yay, we're so excited to have you
Yeah.
here. And I wanted to set the pace with something that I found out about you, and that was extremely too stunned to speak.
What did you find out? Oh God. Oh God, I'm
So
nervous.
you turned down a spot on the Avengers stunt team, right? Because you wanted to stay home and make your own films with your friends, right?
How did you find that out?
I have my ways. And
Oh my goodness.
this is funny because most of the people in the industry, they spend their entire careers waiting for that call. They try to get the call so many times. So
Mhm.
I'm really curious to know, why did you know about yourself in that moment that made the answer so clear? Like, I'm not gonna take part in this right now.
That's a great question. Without giving, there's a lot of backstory to it. So I had previously done a privately financed film for Sony PlayStation, and it was a Star Wars game. And I was like writing it, producing it, and I was starring in it. And I was very, very fortunate. And I was actually partnering and co-directing the project with a very, very talented performer. His name is James Young, who became, I don't want to misquote his actual job title. He definitely was not the stunt coordinator of the Marvel game or the Marvel movies, but I believe he was one of the fight choreographers. If not, he 100% helped with the choreography. He was the double for, I believe, Iron Man, Winter Soldier. During the Winter Soldier era, that's really when he was like really ground rooted into Marvel. So before, like years before that even happened, him and I had done this project called Gray Knights. Never saw the light of day, unfortunately. One of the lead producers passed away, and the project kind of passed away with him. But I got to work really closely with James, and I really wanted to focus more on my acting and my own brand, which I started my own production company called OSU Films, and I wanted to take that seriously. And I had made some money and I wanted to reinvest all my money into my own projects and in hopes of practicing my acting and maybe build like a cult following of people that want to see content that I was also producing. I picked literally the hardest fucking genre to do, and it was like live action anime. It was called Legend of the Kickmaster, and it's supposed to be this like very nerdy, dorky, like fun adventure anime style show. Sci-fi and anime are the hardest to do because the writing has to be great, but you're also trying to tell a story that is not really on Earth or requires a ton of VFX. And it's just hard to do that on a budget. Why I wanted to do that, I don't know, but it was very, very difficult. But um, shortly after our project, James had asked me to come out to Atlanta, and I brought our other partner, and he was sharing with me what he was doing with the Marvel team. And it was before the Avengers were even forming together. That first movie didn't exist yet. The first Avengers movie didn't exist. So this is like, I think this is like Iron Man 2, Iron Man 3 era. I can't remember. Um, but he was mentioning like, if you want, like you can take a room here. Like, they're doing like local hires, so I could be a part of the stunt team and we'll figure it out. And I was so dead set on trying to make my own project happen that I knew right away it would have been like a 4 or 5 year commitment. I would have moved to Atlanta. I would have been helping build something like that, focusing on stunt work. And that wasn't necessarily where I wanted my career to go.
Mhm.
Um, and later on, he ended up doing the very first Marvel movie. He ended up doing Winter Soldier, was like his big, big one. And to this day, that's my favorite Marvel film. Winter Soldier is just so phenomenally well done. especially with the choreography and the action team. And he was, I would definitely say, a key component to the action team. It's been quite a while since I've seen him, because he moved to Atlanta. He went down that path, and he's just done amazing things since then. But I chose a different path, and a big part of it was to focus on my own brand, to focus on my acting. It was a little less glamorous at the time, but I was so happy working with my friends, making my own stuff.
Mhm.
It didn't seem like I missed this big opportunity. I was really happy just making my own stuff. And doing stunts is a very difficult job. Like, I think anything in entertainment is hard. It is really, really hard, and you have to fucking love it. You have to love it when it sucks. And for me, stunt work was not that. Stunt work was learning the tools to be a comprehensive performer and being able to learn how to do action on screen. Right. And I spent a lot of time doing stunt work with a lot of really talented stuntmen. But what I enjoyed more was playing a character that could tell a great story. I
Mhm.
like fighting, but I also want to tell stories with that too. So that those are different skill sets. And I I didn't want to pick that path for myself. And there are people that do a phenomenal job and they actually enjoy it. And that's amazing. So I was at a fork in the road and I picked a different path for myself. But it was not easy. It's very difficult. It's crazy that you even know that story.
I did my research. Did my research.
Yeah. Yeah,
Yeah.
you did. That's
And
crazy.
I wanted to save this question for last, but you touched on a lot of important pieces in your story, and I feel like this is the question for this moment. But
Mhm.
I believe you also said that satisfaction can be the death of growth, right?
Yeah.
And I mean, as a fan, I can see that you live that generally. Like,
Yeah.
for instance, you embodied Kenshi, and then you embodied every single job and every single thing that you do. So the real question here, based on everything that you just said, is what does the version of Noah that's finally satisfied actually look like, if there's one? Or is staying hungry the whole point of everything that you do in your life?
I think, my other satisfaction is a really hard thing. I would genuinely say that when I find moments of satisfaction, it's more in gratitude. So what I mean by that is my favorite moments that I honestly live for is filmmaking is a team sport. It
Mhm,
really, really is. Being a martial artist is an individual sport where it's just you and another guy that you have to fight, right? And it just takes one person to do it. But filmmaking is a team sport. So when you're on these big sets or even just a small thing yourself and you're trying to find that perfect shot and you finally get it, it is so satisfying. And in those moments where we leave set, I'm so grateful that I have a team of people, the right people that want to work with me, that help me get that vision made. And it's really satisfying. But then we instantly sit down as soon as that project is done, and we do like a team analysis. We're like the pros and cons, what went good, what went bad. And we do that to shed light on being grateful and also giving people praise for, I think positive reinforcement is really, really important, but also you can't just live in that positivity because there's not enough growth, right? And there are people that are blind and they only want to hear the positivity because they might be insecure and they need to be validated and they live just for that. And there are people that are only negative. They only see the negativity and it's never enough and they don't live a very fruitful life because of it. I think you need to shed light on both. So we do that with our team, give praise to like what was fucking awesome. Like, dude, you fucking killed it. You did this, you did this. That was amazing. And it's like so rewarding as a performer. It's so much fun to see. But
mhm,
then I want to be better than I was yesterday. So let's talk about the problems. What didn't go right? What were the issues? And how do we make them so we're better tomorrow?
mhm,
So it's this delicate balance of a lot of people get satisfied and then they don't know the next step. They don't go to the next part, right? Um, but I would say like I am satisfied when I see a great take and then I move on to how do we make it better?
Yeah, it's kind of like, yay, I failed. Awesome. I can do
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah,
And I feel like this is very important, especially in the like in the area that you are in. Like there's always room to grow in martial arts and also in the entertainment industry. So
yeah,
you are in like you have the best of the both worlds with
yeah.
this kind of like like mindset. And
Mm.
we'll jump now to Kenshi. Let's not
Yeah.
talk about Kenshi now.
Kenshi, your favorite.
Yes, okay. Mortal Kombat 1, he is my favorite.
Oh, I was joking, but thank you.
Yeah, he's amazing. I love that. It's a very like complex character if you think about it. No, there's when you meet Kenshi, you're like, okay, he's here for the fight. He's just here for the Sento. He's part of this clan and this isn't that. But then when you get to know him, you're like, wow, there's a lot to Kenshi.
Absolutely.
And then we get to how you became Kenshi, which Other Realms just found you, and then like they sent you an email because you're doing a lot of the martial arts videos for the Gameology channel, right? With
Yeah,
Gemma. Yeah,
yeah,
and then it was during COVID, so I feel like everything happened during COVID, and it was kind of
yeah,
like crazy. And
yeah.
then you jumped on that call not knowing anything, right? You didn't know what the full scope was. You didn't know what would come out of that call.
I had no idea.
Yeah, and then someone said like, "Hey, can you do this? Can you do that? Like, let me see you doing this."
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
So I
You
mean,
know the whole story.
I do. Yeah.
You're so
So,
funny. Oh
so
my gosh, I
you know,
love it.
thank you. So it's funny because you earned the role. Like you that was kind of like an audition, but also let's get to know Noah and his work and everything because Mortal Kombat is big. It's huge, and it's not a game that was released just like 2 years ago. It's a game that has a lot behind it.
Yeah.
So you earned the role, and then you became the face of a character that you had no prior connection to, which is funny because I think you also mentioned that you were like Sub Zero for Halloween like 3 times.
Yeah, 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 yeah. Uh-huh, uh-huh.
Yeah. So the question is, how does it feel to build something real around a character that, again, you had no prior connection to, versus one that you grew up knowing or like was part of your life before?
That's a great question. I mean, so the way it really went down once I got hired, I got onboarded. Um, I told them like, hey, if you fly me out, because I live in California and it's in Chicago for NetherRealm Studios, and I'm happy to be flown out and work, and the work was intense. Like when we did it, it was hard work. Um, I would be out there for like a month period. So it's like 4 weeks of constant work. And because of COVID too, I was the only performer allowed in studio. It was very, very strict. Everybody was on a Zoom call. It was me, and maybe two or three other people allowed in the studio. The whole thing was shut down. And also, they only really just needed me for those scenes. But I said before I get in studio, I'd really like to rehearse the characters. I need rehearsal time. And I was like, that's how you do it. Like when you're doing it big, you do rehearsals. So I requested that and they graciously gave it to me. But I later found out that I was one of the first performers to ever get granted rehearsal time. They typically never do that. And I broke it down to the producers and I said, if you hire me, you're typically looking at me just making up martial arts improv in studio. You're paying me a lot just to figure it out on the spot. I said, I do a better job when I know the background of the character, and that's a huge part of Mortal Kombat is studying where they came from, who they are or who they used to be, who they are becoming now, and who they become later, right? And even just in the action, I really, really needed to understand that, study that. So we did like rehearsal Zoom calls So to get on calls with animators and, just one day at a time, we would just talk about one character. It'd be Reptile today. Then the next day it would be Raiden. Then it would be Kenshi. Then it would be Smoke. So I did 8 of the main characters in MK1. And I just really took a lot of time with each character. And let's just say, like, hey, Noah, we need you to come out for 3 weeks. And we're going to focus on these 3 characters. You're going to do Smoke, Kenshi, and Liu Kang. I'm like, great, let's start rehearsing. Let's go into all of that backstory. And then we talk about the martial arts that's going to be used, which is like the meat of it, right?
Mhm.
And we started developing what it could feel like. And they really hired me because of the martial arts history that I understand, and I can bring the history to the characters. Carlos Messina was the original Raiden in the arcade game, and he was with NetherRealms for 35 years as the lead action director. So he became my boss on the game. This was also his retirement game, and they wanted a fresher approach to Mortal Kombat. Um, Typically, they've done almost exclusively like 90% Chinese styles because that's what Carlos used to do. Him and his brother grew up, I think Wushu, but don't quote me, but they were like on a national Wushu team or a competitive Wushu team. And because of that, they were very experienced in a wide variety of Chinese style martial arts. It's like learning different Chinese styles is like learning a different dialect of Chinese. So I got to learn more Chinese from them, but that's not my background. I have so many different Indonesian, Japanese, Korean style. There's so many different styles I can pull from that
Mhm.
they loved. So it feels a little bit different than what they've done before, and that's what they wanted. They wanted a complete new like facelift for the brand. So to kind of circle back to your question, um, not really just focus on Kenshi. It was every single character that I did. I had my time with them to really understand who they were before, who they are in the game, and where they're going to become. For instance, Raiden was very interesting because I've only know Raiden as a god,
Yeah.
right? They were like in this game, in the last game, Liu Kang ended up becoming a god, right? So like this game, we want to have a very young approach to Raiden, where he starts off more as a farmer. And I was like, oh fuck, that's interesting. What? And then they show me the art. They show me like the concept art, and it's like 15 different versions of Raiden.
Mhm.
But I'm like, okay, I'm getting the vibe of what they're gonna go for. They're like, we want him to be younger. We want him to be a little bit more eager in the way he fights. Maybe obviously less experienced, but like even more wild in the way he fights. But he doesn't get his powers organically. Like normally he just has lightning, right? They're
Mhm.
like in this game, he's gonna bring the energy, his lightning out of an amulet. And that's how you're gonna move with that power. So I'm like, this is all like the backstory that I need to like marinate how I'm gonna become that character. So same with Kenshi, same with Smoke. Smoke was really, really, really fun for me. So there's so much. Yeah. I just needed the time to process what I was gonna do before I got in studio. Yeah.
No, that's very interesting, and I think you also answered my next question because it's Kenshi has your identity, right? It's not only the way that he moves, but it's also your face, right? So yeah, and then you have other 7 different characters that it's just your performance, right? It's just your the mocap. So I mean, I think you already answered that, but it's something different, right? It takes something different to build a character that the world will look at and be like, okay, this is Noah, and then the 7 others that people like. I don't know who this is because it's a different face, but it's
Yeah.
it's your movement.
Yeah.
So, do you think that it's it's way too different when you have one that has your face and your movements and then the other ones that just have your movements, and the craft will speak entirely on its own.
So I mean, I've said this I think publicly, but I'll tell the story again. So when I did the motion capture, like I did now this is a few years ago, so I'm trying to remember, and I hope I don't get anything wrong. It was a while ago, but um, I did all of the in-game fighting for the characters that I did. I didn't do any of the reactions or losing. So like if a character's getting beat up and they're like falling down and stuff, that wasn't me. I told them that I'm not really a stunt performer. I'm an action actor, so I'm comfortable doing my action and delivering dialogue, and they loved that. I did um the game selection for the characters when you click on a character in the loading screen and they have their poses and they have dialogue where they clash and they have their lines. I did all of that for my characters. I did the fatalities and brutalities as well for all those characters. I'm sure I've done a few other things. I don't remember, but I do them all for all the characters. And then the motion capture's done. I'm like, cool, game's done. That's awesome. I get a call 6 months later. Hey, Noah, we want to fly you to Chicago for maybe a 30-minute session in studio. Can you come? Are you available? I said, what for? Why is it going to be 30 minutes? That's crazy. And they were like, it's actually for a face scanning session. Just let us know your rates and we'd like to book you. I was like, face scanning? I'm not going to get to do martial arts? Fuck that. And then my best friend Googled it and he's like, dude, you need to go do this. I was like, what? Really? I just was like, I want to go do martial arts. What the heck? Why do they only That's a far trip just to go in studio for 30 minutes and then leave. That's crazy.
Yeah.
I was like, I didn't really know. I've never done a video game before, so I didn't know what face scan was.
Mm-hmm.
So I was like, can you guys give me like a little bit more information? They were being very vague, which typically they're like, they give me all the details. This was the one time they were being vague. I was like, what is going on, guys? You're not giving me much to work with. And they're like, we're gonna face scan you and you're gonna become one of the face of the characters. And I was like, oh shit, that's awesome. I was like, which character? They're like, Ed Boon does not want us to share yet. You need to come in studio. It's a surprise for you. I was like, okay, get on the plane, get out there. I get my contract, and my contract said MK12, which is also very interesting.
Mm-hmm.
They didn't, I don't think that they made the decision to call it MK1 till like maybe like very, very close to actually marketing and launching it. But for MK12, I was supposed to be Sub-Zero.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. So that was my contract, was to be Sub-Zero. And I was like, what? So I was excited. So that's why I've talked about the Sub-Zero thing.
Mm-hmm.
Sign it. Um, I don't think the contract was specifically, it was like a generalized face scanning contract, but it wasn't like just for Sub-Zero. So, but he tells me this is going to be your face as Sub-Zero. I sign it. Maybe a year later, the game comes out. I watch the trailer because they announced the trailer. I see Sub-Zero. I'm like, I don't think that's fucking me. I was like, I don't think that's me. And then Kenshi walks out because the trailer shot is him walking out in Johnny Cage's mansion, right?
Yeah.
I was like, he has my fucking face. Is that Kenshi?
That's me. Oh my god.
So I called one of my animators, one of my buddies, that works at NetherRealms, and I was like, hey dude, am I not Sub-Zero? And he's like, no, dude, we switched you last minute to be Kenshi. And I was like, really? Why is that? He's like, we decided to keep Sub-Zero's mask on the whole game.
Mhm.
And he's like, dude, honestly, he's like, we want to show your face off. And it's like, it was a better swap for you to be Kenshi because you can actually see your face the whole game.
Yeah.
Sub-Zero, you can't really see his face.
Mhm.
And I was like, are you fucking kidding me? You guys switched me for that reason? That is so sweet of you guys. Um, and then I asked one of the other guys at FaceScan, man. I was like, I ended up working for him on another project, another video game. So a year later, I got to ask him why he picked me. And this is really interesting, but they had told me, I don't know if this is true. Maybe a fan like you can do the research and figure it out. But I was told by the animators, I was the very first motion capture performer to ever be face scanned. And they said that that was going to be a big deal. And most of the face scan guys, the face scan models, they get a lot of attention, but
Mhm.
then it like the attention moves away, right? It's like, oh, you know who the face is, and then that's it. Because you're the actual martial artist, everyone's going to know who you are. And they wanted to give me that opportunity because they want a real martial artist attached to the franchise and the brand.
Mhm.
So it was very, very kind of them to do that. And I had asked the guy, I was like, what made you make that decision? He was like, well, you literally are the living embodiment of a Mortal Kombat character in real life. He's like, you got the build, you got the jawline. That's what he said to me. He's like, you're an actual Mortal Kombat character. He's like, it was a no-brainer, honestly. But he had told me they had thought of me years ago to be one of the face scan models and mocap artists. They just never said anything till it was like actually time. So since the very beginning, the very first audition, they already thought they're like, he should be a face scan model.
No, that's very interesting. And
I
even
didn't know
though,
that.
like Kenshi, yeah, you can really see his eyes after what happens.
Yeah,
You
yeah,
after what happens, you can really see all of the emotions, and I think this is also the reason why they wanted you to be Kenshi, so you could portray all of these emotions, like they could put you out there as a character,
yeah,
with everything. And it's really easy to get attached to Kenshi and
yeah,
also to Johnny because of
yeah,
their conversations and everything. And this is actually a great intro to my last question, which
yeah,
is, after the Mortal Kombat 1, you really embodied Kenshi multiple times. So you fought against Scorpion and then Kitana, you did
yes,
all of those short films, and you really connected with the whole Mortal Kombat community.
yeah,
And the fans, they have believed in that with you, like everything that you put out as Kenshi or as Noah, your fans, they just ate it up because it's
yeah.
really well made.
Thank you.
Absolutely. And there's this real conversation happening right now around Mortal Kombat 3, you know,
Yeah,
and about you potentially being the first performer to carry a video game character that they built directly into the live action. So when you watch those fans conversations happening, because I know that everyone is in your DMs and then everyone's is in the comments, and they make a really loud noise. And
yeah,
for a professional in entertainment, this is important. And also because when the time comes, the studio will probably look at it and be like, okay, they're making a lot of noise. Like, can we put Noah here? Can we bring Kenshi here? So when you watch those fans conversations, or when people are in your comments and DMs, what does it feel like from your side, like to get this opportunity and to also have all of these people backing you up on it?
what does it feel like? That is such a hard thing to answer. I mean, the easy answer is like I'm very grateful. It is a lot of noise though. It's a lot. And I'm very grateful. I mean, it's even to the point where like I work out at the gym and like half the gym knows me as Kenshi. And like I go to the parking lot, put my bag away and like Kenshi. I so my bigger picture of why I pursued this entertainment career and why I wanted to be a martial arts actor is because I want to inspire other people to either train martial arts or find their own passion and chase that passion. And no, it's possible. It's fucking hard, but it is possible. And Kenshi represents a beacon of hope in what I've been able to do. And it's fun. It's really, really fun. So the fact that other people can have fun with me and be inspired to go work out and train, I think the world would be a better place if everybody did martial arts. That's my opinion. That's my ultimate goal. Outside of that, for the movie, all this stuff, that would be freaking awesome if I could be. I don't think there's been anybody else that's gone from the video game character to the live action character. I don't know if that's ever been done. I don't think it has, but I potentially could. Like, there's no reason I couldn't do it. Um, that's completely up to the studios. It's a big thing, but I do know that they do listen to the fans. They 100% listen to the fandom because I think if you have you seen the second movie yet?
No, I haven't.
Okay.
I
I
have.
won't spoil anything, but it is much, much, much better than the first one
Mhm.
because they listen to the fans. And I think we're gonna easily have an MK3 because it's gonna do well. I enjoyed it. I enjoyed the second one, but They listen to the fandom, and I think the fans have a very powerful voice, especially with social media nowadays. But I think it's really important to not get super stuck up on movie roles and these titles. And that's why I've been able to work so well with Chris Casamasis as Scorpion. Is like him and I are just like grateful that we get to like have fun with fans. And it's like we can be these characters and nobody gives us those costumes. We invest our own money, we thousands of dollars to do all of this stuff. It's fun for us, but we want to do the hard work. We want to put our own money into it. Um, and I think it's so rewarding. But speaking of Chris, him and I are planning something very, very special soon.
Oh. Oh.
The short reels were a taste of what we're actually going to do. So it's like I want to continue doing this regardless if Warner Brothers gets me involved in the movie or the next video game or whatever it is. I'm gonna just keep going. It's fun. And I think the fans are having fun with us, you know?
Absolutely, absolutely. I mean, during the premiere, you had a lot of fans DMing you, right? Like, man, I wish that you were in the movie as Kenshi. And
Oh yeah.
yeah.
The thing that people don't realize is number one, I didn't know how important Kenshi was gonna be to the overarching storyline. I didn't read like the full script of like the actual MK1 because it's like 4 hours of video game footage or 3 hours, right? It's a lot. Play the game, and I'm like, holy shit, I really feel like Kenshi and Johnny have like the heart of the fandom. They really had like the heartfelt moments together where they like earned that brotherhood. And I
Mhm,
was like, oh shit, Kenshi's gonna be super popular because I love Johnny Cage. And I was like, dude, this is amazing. They did a great job with these characters.
mhm,
But the game had wrapped by the time they started shooting MK1. So by the time the game came out, they were already editing MK2, the movie. So that's why everyone's like, how come you weren't in it? Well, by the time the game came out, I don't think anybody knew how much Kenshi was going to be a fan favorite in this last game. Because
mhm,
he's a main squad member, you know? He's one of the Earthrealm champions, right? But I don't think the writers on the movie understood. I honestly didn't. I didn't think Kenshi would be such a crowd favorite
mhm.
till the game comes out,
Yeah.
right? Um, so now that the game has definitely been out for a few years, the fans are playing, the voices are loud. Um, I think it's highly likely. I think it'd be dumb for them to not put in Kenshi. I have said this. I would love to play Kenshi because I know I can do a great job. And I think it would be so much fun from the OG fans that watch me go from Gameology to MK1 the game to MK3 movie. That like legacy would be fucking nuts.
So
And it'll feel like the fans like started with me to get
mhm,
all the way there, right?
yes.
That would be super cool. Um, my only thing is I don't know if we'll have the same relationship with Johnny Cage like we did in the game. It's a very different universe, right? So this universe might be a little different because Carl Urban's a bit older than I am. Um, which is I think he did a phenomenal job with the movie. I loved him as Johnny Cage, but I do think it is a different Johnny than the game,
Mhm.
right? So I don't know how that relationship would play because that's the fun of it. It's Johnny Cage and then Kenshi rolling his eyes or whatever eyes he has left. Johnny Cage is rolling.
Oh, I mean, you can make the joke.
Yeah,
You can make the joke.
his non-existing eyes. You could feel the eye roll and it's not there.
Exactly. You can and it's funny, because as you mentioned, there's a lot of like universes in the Mortal Kombat,
Yeah,
world. So it's funny because if we're now in the Mortal Kombat 11 and all of the other games universe, then we need to have like this big jump to go to the universe of Mortal Kombat 1 and then have Kenshi and then Johnny and all of the other champions. So I feel like there's a road to get there, but if they don't get there with Kenshi, especially you as Kenshi,
Yeah.
I feel like they could possibly be wasting a bit of potential for what the franchise can be, in regards to all of the movies. So
I,
yes.
I think I think the fans have a huge voice, and if fans want to see me as Kenshi in the movie, scream louder. The studio will hear it. But because I did the movie in COVID, I never got to really actually meet Ed Boon. He was like on a Zoom call on the monitor. So the premiere was the first time I got to meet him and Jonathan Tobias, and they had nothing but nice things to say to me. They were like, "Thank you for your work on the game." It was perfect timing because these other guys came up. They're like, "Oh my God, Kenshi, you got to be in the movie." And I looked at Jonathan and Ed, and I was like, I swear I did not pay them to do that. And they were laughing, and they literally said, like, we notice you. They're like, don't worry, we know you're there. And I was like, cool, that's awesome. And that's all I can do.
I mean, if this is not a Kenshi spoiler, then I don't know what it is.
Yeah.
I feel like great things will come for Kenshi. There's a lot to do. And I'm really, really excited to see what they have in store for the Mortal Kombat 3. I think there's some talks around it being confirmed to be in development or something like this.
I've
Um,
heard that they started writing it already, MK3, but I don't actually know. Like, yeah, I have no idea. I've heard rumors. I'm sure that they have. I think that they're doing really well in the box office right now, from what it seems like. But um, I also want to just put it out there. Adeline, the star of MK2, who plays Katana, um, she came and worked out with us because she's friends with a close friend of mine. So I got to work out with her, and I just want to publicly put it out there. She is the sweetest girl in the entire world. Addie is amazing, and I'm rooting for her career. She did phenomenal with Katana, and it is a big role. That is like every girl in America dresses as like Katana for Halloween.
Correct.
That's
Yeah.
like that is like one staple American character everybody dresses up as Halloween, right? And that's just like huge, huge shoes to fill. And she did so good. But like more than that, she is just such a sweet human being, very hardworking, very talented, and it's like people like her should become stars. So I'm really happy for her. She did phenomenal. I'm glad she came and worked out with us. It was really fun. But yeah, like definitely you should go check out the movie. I had a blast watching it. It is a great rendition of a video game movie. Like that's the kind of movie you want to watch from a video game. It was really fun.
I'm really excited to see them.
Yeah.
And I'll make sure to cut this part where you were complimenting her and then post it.
Yeah.
I mean, I knew Kitana's name before I even knew who Kitana was.
Yeah.
So yeah, so Kitana is the blueprint. You
Yeah.
cannot go wrong with Kitana.
You can't. But it's like
Yeah.
it's such a big shoes for her to take on that role. Like it's easy to mess that up, right? Or
Mhm.
it's the Mortal Kombat fandom is extremely opinionated
Yeah.
for good reason because it's a fandom like what 35 years people have like generationally grown up with it. So it's something that they have an opinion about because they care so much about it. Um and Kitana's one of those characters that's like you got to do a good job.
Exactly.
And Addie killed it. I thought she was perfect as Katana. They did a great job casting her, and she wore the shoes well. So I'm very excited for her. I saw I saw some stuff online that her twin sister looks exactly like her, and now people are fan casting her sister to play Melina.
Oh, that would be great.
I was like, that's interesting. I didn't talk to her about that, but I was like, oh man, I didn't even know that. So that's cool. That could be a thing.
Absolutely. Oh, I can only imagine. That would be actually really awesome because they do look alike, right, in the games and
Yeah.
everything. So yeah, having them both playing as sisters would actually, oh my god, the fandom would go crazy, crazy.
Yeah. I
Yeah.
should have asked her about that. I don't know if her sister acts at all, but it's just her twin sister and everyone's freaking out. And it does look very much like her.
Oh, I need to look that up.
Yeah, yeah.
Definitely.
That's your other homework. You can start looking that stuff up.
More research.
More research. Yes.
That would be great. Yeah. But that was all that I had for you, to ask you, and just wanted to thank you for being here and and always listening to your fans and embodying this whole community. You had this community before Kenshi and now you have this community after Kenshi, and you enjoy the momentum. You know how to live on it, and
Wow.
it's really great, speaking as a fan and also as a professional in the entertainment industry. This is
Yeah.
really important. Without the fans, you don't have anything. So
Yeah.
yeah, as a fan, thank you, and as a professional too, thank you for it. No,
You're so sweet. Of course. I think the most important thing is to remember to have fun. Like, have a good time. It's just a video game, everybody. Let's just have a good time.
exactly. Don't read too deep into anything.
Yeah, it's not too deep. Let's just have fun. I just want to keep making stuff that everybody enjoys. So I'm gonna just continue to do that.